Good evening, dandies. Welcome to Undetermined, the podcast.
I think last time was when the Action Chief record came out. Is what I was last.
Yes.
Just so you know.
Yeah. So how's it going with Joe's record?
Good. Yeah,
Good.
it got out in the world. It seems like some people are digging on it. They just did a little tour. They did like Louisville and Chicago and Champaign, maybe? I can't remember. Something along those lines.
Right on.
So that's good. It's good to see him out in the world. And then his other band, Delicious Monsters, they're going nuts. They're doing all kinds of stuff. They're doing all kinds of crazy things, which good for them. It's awesome. He's getting out there and not just with me.
Nice. Oh man, another thing I want to bring up is I love the cover art on the record.
Which you only see the front cover on digital, which I find low-key annoying, but that's a live in because, of course, the front cover and back cover are paintings, like honest to goodness, paints in an easel paintings of our respective vans.
Right.
They're both 2006 Ford Econolines V8 E350. Like we have the same like when we first met Lung, it tripped us out. Like we have the exact same model van. How was that possible? And so like yet another bonding situation, of which the title is from a thing that we both played that was also another bonding experience. So there actually was an adult prom. It was an Alton. Actually. Alton, Illinois. So
Illinois. Okay.
And we basically had an entire tour's worth of experience in one evening, and we just found it very surreal and hilarious.
Yeah. So what is an adult prom? You have to define.
It's what it sounds like. So all these people, they get a sitter and then they dress up to the nines, and then they head out as if they were at a prom, except for that we're bands playing. And we kind of walked into it being like, all right, so we're going to be the turn the punch bowl, right? Just so we're clear.
Right.
Yeah, we know. It's like, okay. But no, everyone was like super cool and super into it. Like I came in with a chip on my shoulder. I think at one point there's actually a prom crown to, for the end.
Nice.
And I grabbed it and put it on while I was playing. And I said, if someone wants this back, they have to pay the iron price. Game of Thrones is very much in the zeitgeist. Yeah, just a really, really absurd, like seriously, an entire tour's worth of experience in like one night. And it was a thing Lung was already playing that we got added to, and just a really cool experience. And then we were trying to think what to call it. And Daisy from Lung was like, you just call it Split. I'm like, no, it has to have a proper name. Like that's a thing Look, we have a record called Dangerous Nomenclature. I'm into that kind of thing. And he's like, well, how about Adult Prom? I'm like, that's amazing. Yes, because first of all, it's just sort of like, that's a crazy term. And secondly, we actually have a really good story behind it. People are curious, and it could regale tales of that one night for this whole episode. We felt so inclined, but let's just go and say it's memorable and leave it at that. And it was a real thing that happened that, to my knowledge, hasn't happened again since then. But not because it was successful. There was a lot of people that came out to that.
That's what I was wondering, if it's like something that's taken off throughout America, or it's like a trend that people do, like rodeos or whatever. Adult proms.
Rodeos, yeah.
You could take it on the road. You could make it a touring thing. I mean, you guys are just the bands that play adult prom, and just
Palooza, but it's adult.
Right.
Like wedding.
Just get like gymnasiums.
Yeah. All right. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, sure. Yeah.
Sure.
We've done weirder stuff with less reward. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. You know what? That would be like the kind of thing that morning news crews would cover as quirky local stuff.
Yeah. Because they call it an adult prom.
Exactly.
And get this. It tours. What? No way. Yeah.
Inside edition. Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Oh, that sounds so wholesome.
It's true, Sally.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the name of the record, and it's Lung's van is the front cover, and then the Supernaut, our van, is the back cover, which I'm very pleased with as well, because this is the rare case where, like, I'm pretty used to taking the artwork and just throwing it to an artist that I trust. There'll be direction. Oftentimes there isn't. I mean, Dark Passenger is the one thing I was like, it needs to look very different from all the other records.
Right.
Which it does, because all the other records are like bright colors and almost like cartoony or whatever. And that one's like photorealistic and like, someone underwater. It's like, whoa, that's it's gonna catch the attention. But with this one, I was like, I got no idea. And so like when Daisy was like, what about paintings of the vans? I'm like, yeah, that sounds awesome.
And that was the thing. It's like when I opened the Bandcamp and went there to buy the record, it's like when I saw like both sides, like, now I get it. Because I recognize your van.
Well, I mean, the Supernauts been in like a couple documentaries,
And it's like, it's a huge thing in just the van touring community too. Like, which models, people are just like die hard, one side or the other, and all the mods and things people make. It's
van culture is a very real thing.
Yeah, and not just like vanning in general, but especially with touring bands. Let's say, this is the most efficient one, or
Well, and it's very much, like when we are out, people will be like, "Is this the same van?" It's like, yes, it's been the same van since 2009.
Yeah.
I got it when it had 17,000 miles, and it's like 270,000.
Wow,
that's crazy.
But something like an Econoline, especially, if you take care of them, they'll take care of you. You got to put the effort in. And I don't know. I just feel like, and I don't know why. Well, I kind of do, that all the major manufacturers just stop making vans like that you could like maintain yourself. And they made hideous, tall vans that they suck. They're terrible. It's computerized. Like it's like the chassis is like the same thing as like a fucking regular car.
Right.
And it's just embarrassing, and it's just like, it's just crazy that everyone's like, yeah, whatever, that's fine. It's like, no, there's a market for like keeping this same style of van. Right. Just keep going for forever if you feel so inclined.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, just this week, just looking at what's on the road right now, and I'm like, in 3-4 years, you're going to see up and coming bands are all going to be touring in old Amazon vans.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
that's funny. You'll see the little smile peeking through the paint as they
faded into the paint. I remember there was a band we played with that toured out of an ambulance, an old disused ambulance, which I thought was pretty clever and unique. But yeah, I mean, it's weird that we live in this time period that at a certain point, like, all the Econolines are going to be gone, right? So they're going to be literally a part of history, and it seems surreal that it doesn't need to be that way. Like, you're literally talking about a product that people want to buy, and people are like, nope, we're not going to do that.
Right. And a big part
Line 6 not selling that green pedal that everybody wants.
Right. Well, and because they last, and they don't have to sell you anyone.
Same reason, yeah. They don't want to give you something you can work on yourself, and how are they going to make any money on that?
Yep.
But yeah, not as glamorously, but I spent many years in a van just doing flooring. I did flooring contracting for years and drove hundreds of miles, and we had a Dodge. But just because they had that, that really open back end for carpet rolls and hardwood and shit like that, they were great for hauling. But yeah, we used to be able to pop the doghouse off and work on the engine right there, fine tune thing. Not anymore. I don't know anything you drive. God, that sounds like such a boomer ass thing to say, but
no, it's true though. I
think work on these newfangled, I'm telling you. Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible for me to have respect for those Sprinter vans. Like, I'm sorry, they look terrible.
That's not the same thing.
It's not a van. It's a large car that has storage.
Right.
And it handles exactly like one as well. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it does make me a little bit an artifact of my time, but I don't care.
Well, shit. I mean, how many miles have you been in one?
Yeah, well, just on that van alone,
55,000. Just basing it on what, if you got it with 17,000. You got
17,000.
That's all you. That's
yeah. So 200.
That's all your ass in that seat. Yeah.
Since 2009.
Wow.
And this is actually, and it's my fourth van. And I actually named them all after Black Sabbath song titles. The song.
Right.
There's the National Acrobat. There's the War Pig. I was saying that what I don't want to do is end up with you go so many you have to wait for Wheels of Confusion.
Oh, yeah.
No.
But anyway, yeah, it's nice to immortalize the Vans on the record, and we're really we like the record a lot. It's been weird that so we tracked almost like I said, almost all the Adult Prom songs on the Secret Friends side. We tracked it at the same session that we did The Commuter and Misplaced Optimism, The Doomed, and Competitive Grief, the Dangerous Nomenclature stuff. So we tracked all those and 3 songs on the new record all in the same session. The new record being the one that literally we just finished. That's going to be out like fall of next year. Right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we've been sitting on them for like 2 years. Except for We Were Wolves, which is literally we love that song. It was like, this does not fit on Dark Passengers in any way, shape, or form. This is it's hilarious how much this does not fit with the rest of these songs. And so we sat on it with the intention of giving it a proper release later, and then it was like, oh, this fits great with these ones. Yeah, let's put it out here because I like that song a lot. To me, it's like what we do, but like the Cars, like that side of it.
Yeah.
Like it's great to have that out in the world, just because again, it was just sitting around for so long, and then it was just like, oh, it's all happening. Okay, and we're doing a West Coast tour with Lung. It's like Phoenix, LA, San Francisco, Sacramento, Reno, Eugene, Portland, Bellingham, Seattle, and that should be really good because we played those McCluskey shows last year in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Those are really good.
Yeah, you were just getting ready to go on that tour. I think the last time we talked. How was that?
Worked out great, and they had to cancel the vast majority of their tour because of Falco's hearing, which he's now using the big like industrial grade, big mamma jamma. I worked at the airport hearing protection because he has to because of the tinnitus. But we actually were the only ones who really got to do that. It was fantastic. I mean, it's like I would one of those shows is probably one of my favorite shows I've ever played in any band at any time. Just like all around, just you're killing it. Everyone's there for. I mean, because it was like these are like cities that we do well in anyway. But I mean, also like having like a band that bring in like 750 people like easy is, and having an audience that's like, well, they're coming at it receptive because McCluskey wanted us to be there.
Right.
Like, well, we better pay attention to this. And then we had a bunch of people that were there for us too, and like felt great.
Yeah. There's so much more to say for the atmosphere, and people are about it, and
and it's not like whatever. I mean, if you have like a combative environment too, that can be interesting in a different way, and that doesn't necessarily be bad. But it's just like what I don't like is just like when people are indifferent about stuff, and I feel like since COVID, there's less of that.
Oh yeah.
I feel like there's still like people that you would expect to see out that you'll like get a message and they'll be like, oh man, I can't do it. And it's always like, yep, I get it.
Yeah.
Explanation necessary. But the people that are there are way more invested.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, I feel more invested, when I'm
because you didn't know how much you love something until it's like ripped away from you. Like, oh yeah, you can't do that.
I'm much less indifferent to shows. Absolutely. I took this for granted for so long. Especially really good ones lately.
Like the whole like the CDC's policy amounted to live, laugh, love. So it's just like, okay, how much do you love doing this? Like, are you willing to risk your life to do this? Well, yes, I am. And then, I mean, less so now since it's just something cumulatively decided we're going to live with. But like, it's something that for some people, no, I'm not interested in risking my life for that. Okay, well, there you go. But this is my world,
Right. Yeah, it's kind of funny how like in the UK, just football got a pass.
Of course, yes.
They're like, no,
that's sports though. Sports is okay.
That's different.
Yeah, let's say it got a pass here. I mean, they still opened up they did set up a lot more precautions, but even here in KC, Chiefs game, you're not going to stop them from showing up.
Right.
The rationalization is, well, it's sports.
Yeah, it's like no, it's that doesn't count. Look over here. Don't look at that.
No, but that's the thing. But
it's just so funny. I mean, when you're not in charge and you can't do anything about that, all you can do is laugh. In some ways, or you're not going to change anything about it in
Well,
the immediacy of it. You know.
yeah, and that's something that it is what it is to a certain degree.
Oh, I
It's
love that saying. I love it.
like you can sit there and be angry about it all you want, but I
Uh,
mean,
well, that whole episode of life was just so weird and surreal. And in my head, like I thought I would be like this person who was carrying those thoughts and those worries forever. And
Mhm.
it's surprising. It's like the human mind, at least mine, is just like, get that shit out.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to think about it.
we thought about it enough. It's enough.
Yeah. I see it as a big series of gaps. And then I do think back about things like that, like periods of my life that were really hard to get through or whatever. Yeah, there's holes there too. It's like your brain's just like, yeah, we don't need that shit.
When I think about it, it's from a pure like lizard-like perspective.
It is.
Yeah.
I think about like what momentum we lost working as a live band because of that, and like what
Yeah.
we do to try to like get that back and so on, things like that. But I mean, also it's just that was an unprecedented time in human history,
Yeah.
modern human history anyway, and like the outcome of which is far stupider than any of us could ever have imagined. Which is
Man,
basically we cumulatively decided that it didn't matter. Okay,
no, it's
Yep. So
weird.
anyway.
so I guess we just all like wasted a couple years. All right.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I try to remember those who did, I lost a few people that I knew.
Mhm.
It was a
Same.
weird
Yeah,
thing.
likewise.
I didn't know about 4 or 5 people who died from it and shit like that. And it's like, the problem is just the scale. It's one of those things. It's like you will never know how much worse or how much better it could have been, or any of these metrics, because it happens in this like 2-year vacuum. That we did what we did, and we certainly fucked with it as people, sociologically, every way that we could, politically. We'll never know how it could have, could have come less.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it could have gone better. I
Yeah,
believe
I'm
that
sure
for
it could. Yeah,
Put me down in that column too.
yeah. I mean, there's certainly things that could have been better. But I mean, really, I'm just saying, like,
Better.
the expectation of humanity, though. Like, what are we able to pull off?
Well, the answer is don't expect anything of humanity, except
Right.
or just like the most disappointing result possible.
I guess that's the thing. I set the bar pretty low.
No, me too. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like it was like, all right, but I mean, it's whatever. That's what's happening. So, and then now it's just like it's like it never happened now. And it's like,
Yeah, I mean, I was almost thinking of that today, and just like I couldn't even formulate the question that I wanted to say. It was like, so how was it all like coming out of the pandemic on the other end?
right.
It didn't, it didn't trigger anything inspiring to me. When I tried to think of that question today, and it's like, it's just such a weird time that it's just so, like Matt said, it's just there are periods that are just blacked out. Just
All I can say for me is that let's see. I mean, I wrote a record and a half, but I would have done that anyway. And Protonic Reversal grew a lot. That's about it. And then we had to cancel the first iteration of Caterwaul, and then we eventually did do it, and we did it again just this last year, so that was good. But like, I don't know, like it's hard to define it, right? Like it's just it's strange. It's just, can you imagine like being like high school age?
Oh Jesus, yeah,
right. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even being a teacher, just in that amount of time was crazy.
Sure.
Nuts. It's
anyway. I don't have any special epiphanies or knowledge.
No.
I'm gonna be like, it's a trip, man. It's crazy, but it is a trip, man, and it is crazy. So.
Yeah, but I've never found anybody else who has either. Who had any great revelation from it so far, and that's kind of
except for people that pretended it wasn't happening the whole time.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, I have an interesting perspective on a lot of that. Just my job, right? You guys know what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to people who are dealing with depression, or hard times, and I got really, man, on that line, I got a full spectrum of people's feelings about it all.
Yeah.
And their experiences, and a lot of people, my grandma died, or that sort of thing, and some really awful stories that I can't share publicly, but holy fuck.
No, nor should you, but like it's still, it's a lot. Anyway, this is a depressing ass topic, isn't it?
Yeah. We got through it though.
I learned that I can get free therapy from Matt, and I did. I just can't talk about like naked stuff or anything. He's like,
right. He has ground rules,
but he's licensed and shit. And it's like, hey, take advantage of that. Cha-ching, saves me money.
So
I called him a lot too. So anyway, back to this record, rock and roll.
It is a rock and roll record. I feel like
it is. It's a fucking great rock and roll record. And I found some really cool things that I think. I don't know if I've asked you this before, just because you've been on so many times. So it's like things you're experimenting with, or like swinging more with your voice, or
there's a freaking sitar in one of these songs.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, don't get me, especially like on the earlier tracks and the lung tracks and shit. And it's like, I'm a sucker for like that industrial synthy shit too.
Yeah.
Being mixed in and but is that something that's just it's not like you aim for that necessarily. It's like, I got to get so many new, shots in on trying out some new things, or
fill the quota.
Yeah, do I need to fill the quota on trying new shit, or is it just that's what this song needs?
I mean, I guess it would be disingenuous to say that I don't think about it, because I definitely have situations where I'm like I'll listen to like a group of songs and I'd be like, something else needs to be here.
Right. I think, and that's what I'm saying. It's not like an insult. It's just in the fact that I think everybody does that. Who does art? I need something a little in this corner of this painting. I need something in this paragraph. Yeah. I need something in this scene.
For me, I think I always had in my mind that Wild Antics was going to start this record, or at least our side of the record, I should say, just because it just seems like a pretty ripper, like banger opener, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like I don't know, because we still haven't actually played it live yet, but like I could see that being an opening song at shows too, because it's just like it's got that vibe. And for me, it's a lot of people have invoked Cheap Trick, which certainly is a band I think of and agree and love. But to me, it's like I was honestly like, am I going to hear from Thurston Moore's Lawyers? Because it sounds like it sounds like the and apparently not. Everyone's like, oh no, it sounds like classic rock. I'm like, all right,
okay,
right on, whatever you hear. And then I wanted that. We always talk about doing a fades, the way we just kind of forget to do it or chicken out of it. But I wanted Crybillies just to crash into it, like at the end of it, while it was, because it's such a different kind of song. Which that came from somebody observed that we have a lot of like mid-tempo rockers, and there's worse things to be known for, right? But it's
right.
I guess it's been a while since we had kind of a speedier one, and so that one, Tony started that one with the bass line, and for me, I was, and then that's when I was like, this sounds so much like Brainiac, but like no one else hears that. So, I've heard like 3 or 4 different bands. I'm like, no, okay.
I'll have to go back. I don't know.
But I think I was just thinking about it in terms of the guitar, because there was so much of the structure was just like bass, and so I was thinking all the weird guitar stuff I was doing and the interjections and stuff. Ultimately, it's going to sound like us anyway.
Sure.
So that's what that is. But like, I think it's with Criminal Hypnosis. I wasn't thinking about the Beatles, but I was thinking about when the Beatles kind of got into like using other instruments and stuff. And it just came down to like, I made I made this song and it was like, which one is the chorus? It's like, are there like a couple choruses on here? It's like, I think there are, and I think that's okay, and I'm not going to worry about that.
Yeah.
And then I was in the shower and I heard that bow bow now. In my head, and it sounded like a sitar. Oh man, and I was like, oh man, I gotta get the shampoo out and dry my hair and like get this down really quick before forgetting. Really good. Yeah, right. Run out naked. Yeah. Running to the guitar. But like it was definitely something where I was like, and that kind of like unlocked that whole song to me. And then and then also how that turned out led me to do that line, money and fame, one gives you freedom, the other takes it away.
Yeah.
Because it feels like, for me, when I hear a sitar, something profound should be being sung.
Right.
And so I was like, I better have something that matches that. And
Yeah.
I like thought about it. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Did I steal that? And I was like, no, I don't think I did. I think I just came up with that.
Yeah.
Do you ever do that though? Like, where you write a riff or something and you feel like, I don't feel like that's anywhere, and then somebody comes at you and like, dude, that's this song. And
no,
simple bitch, because that would happen to me. I'm sure of it.
Luckily not. So every time, I feel like every Secret Friends record, there's like one just hard banging riff rocker, and I'm always like, I'm sure I stole that from somewhere accidentally, like, not by any design, but just accidentally. And I'll like listen to a bunch of stuff and like I'll play it for a few trusted friends. I'm like, is this like something already exists? And I was like, no, this is great, is what this is. I'm like, well, no, I know, but like did I steal it, is what I'm saying.
It's a little too great, so I'm worried.
Right, yeah. And I feel like that was the case with Impossible Task. That was the case with Computer. That was like, there's been a bunch of these iterations that are always like, where I'm like, I feel like that must just like came out of nowhere. Quid Pro Quo was another one, just like, I'm like, did I rip this off? Like, I don't think I did, but did I? And so far, no. I've got, and maybe it's just because I do listen to a lot of music, that I just kind of like blending all these things together, and also it's gonna sound like how it's gonna sound anyway.
Well, yeah, and then the whole, there's nothing new under the sun necessarily. I mean, how many millions of songs have been written with sequences of notes, or, and how many of you heard,
and context is everything, right? Because I'm sitting here talking about how, it sounds like the Wild Antics, that main riff sounds like Teenage Riot. That's what the name of the song is. Like, well, yeah, but it sounds like that one riff if like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers played it or something.
Right.
Like which nobody, no sane human being would ever imagine, but that's basically what it sounds like, right?
And they didn't. Yeah.
And they didn't. And so then, like, for me, I still can think of it as like, oh, well, that's this, that's, that's the, that's the Brainiac part, that's the Black Sabbath part, that's this, the, whatever. And it's not necessarily going to sound like that to other people.
Right.
Like, I think We Were Wolves, it sounds kind of like the Cars to me, but it does it sound like the Cars? No, of course not. Like, you can play to a bunch of Cars fans.
What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, the spirit of the Cars, anyway.
Yeah, and the fact that it's like, short and concise. There's a little hooky, there's a little guitar part that I didn't write. Toshi wrote that. It's got Elliot Easton-ishness to it, in the fact that it's like there's a lot of movement to it, but it doesn't, But it's ultimately like those things, the pastiches of different ideas and things that when you put it through the meat grinder, that's what is the thing. And also, like, I think it's at the point now where it sounds like Conan Neutron, the Secret Friends, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I say that now, and I could, oh, did you know that's actually, Night at the Opera? What? No, I didn't. Okay, I didn't know that. But also, like, I don't think, even if I was trying, I never would. Even if I was trying to rip someone off, I still think it would turn out like different. Just because I'm a very, I don't know if unorthodox is the right word, but I'm a very specific type of guitar player and musician. There is something in the way that I write that I always throw in something kind of left field. And it can be something as simple as like, it's a transition that like, oh, it does this on the and instead for like any reason other than it should.
Yeah.
Like small little things where it's like, oh, why did, like, I had to recently to show some people Cry Bullies because we're going to play it. And then we're like, is that the chorus or the verse? I'm like,
yes,
I think that's the verse, maybe. Yeah. And then I was like, yeah, but it goes back to this other thing. Like, it's not just a strictly verse, chorus, verse. But don't worry, if you play it enough, you'll get it. Like, it makes sense in the context.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But like, how little I think about that, unless it's something where it's just like blatantly obvious. It doesn't bother me. Like, it's for the people that it's for, right? And ultimately, it's big, weird rock music, and the weird is in there for a reason. It's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, I can't remember the song, but it was just like about a year ago. I played around with the guitar, and I had this riff, and I was working on it for a couple of days. I was like, yeah, I really like that. I don't know though, and it just boom flooded in my head. I was like, that's a Billy Idol song. It was like it totally is.
I guess you could like what Shazam it, right?
I
Is that what it
could,
is?
I guess, but
Shazam doesn't really
it popped
work
into
that
my
way.
head. I heard his voice, and I don't
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
what I thought. I was like, hey, maybe it was, White Wedding. I don't know what it was.
Was it?
But it was like, no. I would have spotted that
Yeah,
pretty
that's pretty
quick
distinctive.
as a two noter. Yeah,
You just
but
have the phase cranked up all the way.
Well, and that's
mm,
out of context. That can actually work well. Like if the rest of the song doesn't sound like that, you can actually like I've totally had songs where it's like, all right, so that's like the Ziggy Stardust and Spiders of Mars guitar riff, but that's over a
right,
totally different thing, and no one's gonna think about that in that context.
right.
But it's that same principle, or like maybe even the same progression, but it's a different note or different key or whatever. All that musical nonsense nobody cares about. Whereas when I hear something like this, I don't want to like start trash talking, but
Mm,
here's some of these bands where it's like you would literally have to try to be less original, and people are just like,
yeah,
fine, I don't care, I like it. Really? Okay.
yeah,
Like, I don't know. I'm not saying everybody needs to be like defining new paradigms in music or anything. I don't think one size should fit all, but like it's just amazing what people will settle for to me sometimes. Like
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and just
Well,
like
think
that
that,
Greta Von Fleet band a couple years ago. It's like holy crap.
yeah. I've heard so many people tell me, when I was
Literally Led
so big,
Zeppelin.
but
they,
people just
they
saying
sound
like,
like Led Zeppelin.
oh, sure, yeah. And for them
Well,
to deny
if a band like, oh, this band sounds like Led Zeppelin, what does that mean?
yeah.
Like what do you mean when you say Led Zeppelin? Do you mean Stairway to Heaven? Do you mean
Physical graffiti, or yeah,
like what era? Like what? It's like when people say something sounds like the Melvins. I'm like, oh, you mean it sounds like the one thing that people think of when
when they think of Melons, right? Yeah,
like it sounds like
it's kind of
whatever.
funny. Even like, speaking of which, I watched that documentary the other day.
The
Um,
Melvin stock,
yeah, the Melvin stock Colossus. I
which
thought,
I got cut out of, but that's fine.
oh, did you? I was wondering. I was waiting for you to
I'm
pop up.
gonna cut myself out of too, man.
I
There's
was
so
like,
many.
I know a few of these motherfuckers here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I was waiting for you. I really was.
Well, and even then, it only goes up to like Stephen McDonald isn't even in the band at that point yet. So it's like they are so active and move so quickly that even after the documentary comes out, there's still like a bunch of stuff that's like as yet undocumented, which is crazy, right? But yeah, no, it's a great documentary.
It is. And I mean, but overall, I do have to attest my favorite parts of it are just the drop ins of the music and the stage performances, and it's just
From
like,
the different eras.
those songs, and it's like, woof, and it just gets you, pumped when you hear it. And, watching just Buzz slay up against that amp, and shit, you're just like, yeah. But I mean, but it is guilty of that too.
Over Rocket over the
Right.
years,
Just, the Speedo and shit, just going to town.
It ends with the ice cream truck, right? Like they do graveyard and all those, and then they start throwing out ice cream. What a
it's
great
amazing.
bizarre way to end. It's like,
So
it's
amazing.
just like we don't care about this at all. Can we get our ice cream now? Thank you.
Right. Half the kids in line are like plugging their ears and shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
What a hilarious and absurd way to end a movie. But like, but it's crazy because I mean that band is so great and they're so active and they do so much stuff. It's like, oh, you could almost do another documentary on stuff that happened since then.
I'm sure you
Oh,
could.
absolutely.
You could have it like a rolling documentary, almost like a series.
Whereas like
Maybe.
some bands are like, they made a documentary about that band? What is it, like 10 minutes long?
I think we should. I really think we should lobby a Discovery Plus or some sort of like scientific to do like swabs of your van, and just like a CSI,
Yeah.
right? Like a CSI take apart where they have like the zoom in and exploding like blue and white graphics.
Can I tell you that I found in the passenger, whatever they call the wheel well thing, passenger wheel well, the
Yeah.
it used to be that's where you stuck the atlas because that's how long I've been doing this, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I found a CD from a band that we played with from 2009 that has been there since 2000.
Nice.
Sweet.
And it's not like I'm an especially dirty person, but it's just it's split in like.
Oh
you know,
yeah, shit falls down there. Yeah.
It's like, oh, what's this? Oh shit! Crazy. It's been stolen twice. Returned both times.
Wow, that's nuts.
Once with the ATM that they stole.
Yeah, it could totally be like a CSI documentary. On what that band's been through.
Yeah. Long as it
we
pays.
can find out forensically.
Yeah, exactly. Spell the name right, and
Right.
Zeros on the check.
The hardest working man in show business.
Hardest working van in show business. That's what you call it.
Oh, that's a good one.
Van in show business.
Yes.
And you can have it just be about people's tour vans. See, this is great. We're throwing out gold right here.
Someone's gonna absolutely.
That's a documentary, right?
It is a documentary.
That's a great title.
I've already got it in my queue.
Yeah. Give me email warnings about
I should make that. I don't know. I know enough.
Oh God.
I'm doing a video for Cryboys because I remember. Well, I did that video for Hotel with Pool from Joe's band from Resurrectionists just because he was doing the thing where he did a video for each song and like he was like I was like, well, okay, how many do you got? He's like, oh, I got these 5 or whatever. Okay, cool. I was like, I'll do one. I know how to do it. I just like academically, I don't really care for doing it so much anymore until I'm doing it. Then I enjoy it.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I know that.
I think it also was like I was doing it for like money. That makes sense. I was doing pornography. No, I was doing it and being paid to do it. Not tons and tons, but like I think kind of killed my love for it a little bit. So I'm doing a video for Cryboys. I actually was just editing upstairs a little while ago. It's coming right along, and it's good. And I'm remembering like everything I love and everything I hate about it. And then we got like Mark Borchart's doing a video for Wild Antics, and as Wendy Norton's doing a video for We Were Wolves. So we're gonna have at least 3 videos. I would like to do a video for Fridging. But if we do it, I at least want Kate to be in it because it's a duet, and they are just so pounding busy. Like they just did Screaming Females. They have a tour with Thelma and the Sleaze coming up. Then Juna have a tour with us. So it's like I don't know.
I saw a bunch of these with Max Sabbath. They had as well.
Yeah.
Max
and Speed Dealer. They used to be REO Speed Dealer back in the day.
Speed Dealer. Okay. I've heard that.
True Heads.
I know I heard that. Yeah.
And apparently REO Speedwagon finally caught on like 9 years into their run and asked them not to
please don't. They
just became Speed Dealer.
Lighten up. Seriously. I don't
to me that's what
was funny. Yeah.
That kind of name, like the name that's like a reference to something else. They're very hit or miss for me. But REO Speed Dealer.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Come on, give it up. Got to give it up.
No problem, my friend. Yeah, good for you. I mean,
so
not my cup of tea, but I'm glad you're here.
I gotta say, I'm bummed. I'm gonna be sad to not hear any more Action Chief stuff coming, man.
Yeah, it was so many lawsuits, bitter recriminations, national outpouring of grief. It's terrible. It's a terrible state of affairs.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it.
Like, no joke though, I love Action Chief. That was like one of my favorite records last year.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What Cyndi Lauper says: money changes everything. So
it does.
Some big pocket donor decides to invest some money. Maybe those guys could all get together from their separate cabins ensconced in different areas of the world,
right?
And then come together for one last time.
I
mean, it's I can sit here and do the shtick all day, but it's just everyone's very busy, and I agree. I think Action Chief would be a hell of a band. I mean, Action Chief was supposed to be a live band that got around to recording eventually. That was the original.
And it was the other way around.
Completely the other way around. It was never a show. So, and then we developed the whole thing of it just being this, like think of like any like just rock and roll excess, like people issuing press releases at each other instead of talking to each other, like that kind of thing. They would just escalate and escalate. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. Like you can't.
You never know. You never know what could happen in the future. Look
People
at the
can't miss
Eagle.
you if you don't go away.
Yeah.
Right. So currently, we'll put it on the back burner. It'll be inaction chief for now.
In action, chief. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at the Eagles.
I can already tell you what the next record would be called if there is. Our solo record. Just the solos, our solo record.
Nice.
Recorded in 4 different cabins and sent simultaneously around the world.
Yeah.
JB is actually moving to Ecuador, though. Most of the press release is total BS. But there's a few kernels of truth in there. Yeah, JB is actually moving to Ecuador. It's crazy.
Oh, wow. Or a jackalope tail.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Tony did move down to Louisville. So.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Which that's not surprising. That's where he's from.
Was that where Return of the Living Dead was shot? Was it in Louisville?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Where they have to drop a bomb on Louisville at the end.
Yeah.
At the end of it.
I've always wanted to drive through there just to see that. That warehouse is probably gone, I'm sure, or whatever. Or just
I don't know.
Scenes. I don't know. Always.
I do know
I go through that way a lot. I just,
a lot of my old friends from back in the punk rock days back then, I know they said that like a bunch of them like saw that movie in the theater and they were like, "What move?" Like they had no idea. They
had to make like a pilgrimage.
Yeah, like holy crap, like that's crazy because like there's not a lot of movies that are set down there. I like Louisville a lot. I mean, I guess it helps that Tony being from there, we kind of front loaded with people engaged in active listening to what we do and there being an audience for it. But yeah, Louisville's a cool town, man.
Yeah. A lot of areas I like in the South. We just got back from Nashville. I did that over the summer. Actually what it was is like, she's not going to listen to this. My kid, really wanted Taylor Swift tickets. And I really did not want to pay $2,000 for these.
Yeah.
So I
would not blame you.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
I was like, we could take a trip to Nashville for like 2 or 3 days. Hotels, everything, it'd still be less than one of these tickets. And she can see all of Taylor's favorite spots and all, we can eat breakfast in the cabin.
Right. We can do the Taylor Swift tour.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sans Taylor Swift.
Yeah. And I get to go, different record stores and Grimey's and shit like that.
It's funny you mentioned that because like I just finished the new record.
Mm-hmm.
Like just finished like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And was in Los Angeles. Sound of Sirens doing that. It's great. I'm excited, super excited for it. Best thing we've ever done, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait for everyone to hear it again about a year from now. But on the way back, on the plane ride back to Milwaukee, I was like, this plane seems like full of like a certain kind of person. I can't quite put my finger on what it is. And I noticed there was like a higher contingent of female passengers. And it turns out they all had just come from some big LA Taylor Swift concert like hours before. And they were all flying back to their respective areas in the Midwest, which was crazy to me because I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And like
you ran into a pack of Swifties.
Yeah, one of the women I sat next to like told me all about it. I was like, oh, okay, so that makes sense that if it's a thing you're that into that you're gonna fly out. Just to me, the idea of like, Tom Waits, I don't know. Would I fly out to Tom Waits? Maybe, I don't know.
But would you fly out with like 20 other dudes to see Tom Waits?
Probably not.
And all dressed like Tom Waits.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, but like that's me, right? I mean, maybe if you're not an artist, if you don't have that drive, but you do have like a, it means a lot to you. It means enough to you that you would travel to go see it, and then you can have that experience with other people that feel the same way. Sure, why not?
Sure.
Who am I to judge?
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was kind of odd. I was like, I can't believe. Yeah, I was like, wow, this is like I couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, why is this flight seem so much different? Like most flights I've been on. I was like, it's full of people coming from like the Taylor Swift show. That's why. Okay.
Wow. Did you lecture them
I'm
on
like the only
vinyl?
one that didn't go to this, so I had no frame of reference for any of it, and was hilariously out of. But they were all very friendly, you know.
That's good.
A
Yeah,
bunch of them
did
came
you
from Salt Lake City. I don't know. Okay, sure.
should have lectured them on vinyl?
Oh my god.
Listen.
All that Taylor Swift vinyl has caused major problems with the production delays.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying it's your fault, but in
It's your
certain
fault.
ways, I mean,
lady. Yeah.
there's certain things that you can do to help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift's gonna have a good Christmas either way. Think about the other guy.
You totally want to be that guy. That's exactly everybody.
Sure. Sounds like a great use of everyone's time. But yeah, I mean, like, it's a thing. It's not my thing, but like, I can appreciate anytime people are, vibing off something that is positive and constructive and doesn't take away from the freedoms and happiness of others.
Absolutely. Yep. Live and let live, man.
No, there are worse cults in this country.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would never dare say it. Even if I had a strong opinion about Taylor Swift, I don't. I would never dare express it because, like, it's the most aggressive fans I've ever seen. I was like, oh man, don't, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're invoking the Eye of Sauron. It's gonna
right.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I just like it's like the latest Barbie bashers that with Shapiro and then that minister in Tennessee or whatever.
Oh, yeah, those idiots didn't like it. Who could have predicted that?
Yeah.
Right. Mm.
I thought it was great, by the way. It was hilarious. I mean,
it's a fun movie. Yeah, we went out the premiere weekend.
Darkly funny, like it's Greta Gerwig's great. I like all of her movies. This one was no exception.
Right.
Then they're gonna make they're learning all the wrong lessons from it. Oh, we'll have Lena Dunham's Polly Pocket. No one wants that.
You're missing the point here. Yeah.
It doesn't mean make more movies about toys. It makes make movies that are like subversive and darkly funny and interesting.
Right.
Can do something, but we can only do that once because again, there's gonna be a bunch of knockoffs of it that are just gonna be intolerable. Like it's gonna be
they'll be bad. Oh my god! Like the Asylum films are just gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a marker here too. Spoiler alert, but. One of my favorite things about the Barbie movie was that the very last word uttered when the film was cut is gynecologist.
It's true. Yeah,
that was enough for me to just.
Yeah. Slow clap. Yeah, exactly.
Woo. Oh,
yeah.
It was hilarious. I thought it was great.
It's always worth celebrating when something kind of subversive and strange. Greta Gerwig is not like a, well, now she is, but was considered a mainstream film director.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it's whoa, they let the chick who made Lady Bird make this major motion picture. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's good because Lady Bird's fantastic. It's an amazing movie, but it's also a niche movie definitionally because it's just small scale.
Sometimes they do that. Look at. Could you imagine, whenever Iron Man came out, Jon Favreau doing that?
Jesus, yeah.
I remember. I was a big Jon Favreau fan. I was like, oh, wow, Jon Favreau's doing it?
That's weird. But I need to see this.
That'll be cool. When Sam Raimi got the call up to do Spider-Man, I was like, that's really nuts, but okay.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, who'd ever thought? John from Swingers. He's like the richest producer in the fucking world or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have never seen that coming.
Nope.
So in that same way, when people that are more from the underground or however you want to phrase it, they do well, I don't think there's a reason to be shitty about it. It's sort of
oh no,
look at Idols. Idols are doing great. Good. They're bringing weird music to the suburbs.
Sure.
Oh, isn't that weird? All right, fine, man. You're only into hard sci-fi. We get it. Cool. I'm just saying that everyone's got to start somewhere, and if they're putting together a show and their show is very fun, it's like a life affirming experience. You're gonna get mad at that? What? Because you aren't middle-aged dudes with beards and fucking beer guts?
Right. And isn't there worse shit out in the world that we need to get rid of, just entertainment-wise, even? That it's why is that your priority?
People are so short-sighted. And people, and it's I don't know. I think people get jealous too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't worry too much about that. I run my own race.
Mm.
You know, the only one I'm measuring up against is me and my own expectations.
Yeah.
And because I set my expectations for, I like doing like cool creative things, I'm rarely disappointed.
Mm.
Yeah, look at Dangerous Nomenclature. Hey, it'd be cool to make a record where like you pick the song titles ahead of time with a band that sounds nothing like you, and you both write songs to the song title. Great, did it? It's awesome.
Right.
Adult Prom. Hey man, remember that thing in those couple 7 inches in like the 90s and stuff where they would cover a song by the other band? It'd be cool to do that and like also do like a collaboration. Cool, we just did that. You know, like I have 1,000 of these ideas, and no one apparently will tell me no. So, and if they do,
I wish somebody would make me stop. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like, there's an audience for it, and
Yeah.
one of the reasons why there's an audience for it is sort of for myself when I just got out of my way of doubting myself of just, you know, only listening to the party of yourself that's like a critic that's like, nobody cares about that. That's a dumb idea. You shouldn't do that. Then like it's almost like like in Office Space where he gets hypnotized and like they don't bring him out of the hypnosis, and that leads him to just like walk into the job and he just doesn't care, and he's just like absolutely free in every way, and they, the Bobs mark him for upper management because I don't know, have fun with your layoffs, that kind of like not to that level, but I felt like I was so uptight about music stuff that people can sense that, and they can like if it feels desperate or feels like, I don't know, like there's some kind of like strings or weight attached to something. People don't want to engage with it, and
well, I think we kind of live in a world too where most of us will have a thought and be like, yeah, somebody should do that, right? And they just leave it at that. I write that out, and then you know what? Do it for your fucking self. You got a chance right there. Maybe that goes somewhere.
Yeah,
and some of us just do it, and like it's what it is. Like I can't say that it's like a recipe for being a millionaire or anything, but like considering that I just love what I do and love connecting with the people who also love that kind of thing and engage with the music either on the face of it or like with the personal story or because of like whatever X, Y, and Z specific reason. It's great. It's the journey is the destination, man. Like I'm
absolutely
stoked. You can't bring me down.
Yeah, I mean it's a good way to generate art. I mean, it's just in general. I think it's like Matt. What you saying just reminded me of what I was thinking earlier. It was a quote by Andy Warhol. Somebody was looking at it was just like Campbell's series or something or series, and critics in New York said I could have done that, and Andy Warhol said, "Yeah, but you didn't."
Yeah, you didn't. Exactly. You could have. Look, it's easy to fall down that path, right? And be like, "Oh, I have that idea." Yeah, but you didn't do anything about it, did you?
But you didn't.
Right.
Yeah, that should.
Yeah, you want to talk artists? Everybody says that Jackson Pollock. Oh, fuck! I could have done that.
I could have done that, but you didn't. And it's not to say that you should just have no impulse control and do like literally everything that comes to the front of your mind. Like,
but that can be a criticism if you're not getting off your ass and if you're not trying.
Fortune favors the bold. And for me, I found a way that allows me to work quickly, directly, with great result, and lean into everything I do that's good and ignore or circumvent the things that cause things to be bad or slow down or just end up being wasted energy.
Right.
And I'm not saying I have it all figured out because I don't, but I definitely have figured out what works for me. And I can sit there and be like, there aren't enough pre-orders for this yet. And it's like, well, it's been at the time of this recording, it's been out a week. I don't know when you're gonna be listening to it, and like that's just the kind of thoughts I have when I just have too much time in my hands. I'm like, what's wrong? It's like, well, there was like not one, but two AstroTurf like oaky, quasi racist like songs that everyone had to react to the past couple weeks. I was real busy with that, and which don't even get me started on that because just engaging with that.
No. Yeah.
Why would you? Why? Well, I'm calling it out. Yeah, are you? To who? Who are you calling it out? Other people that agree with you exactly? Yeah, you're just propagating this, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I got in so much shit with some people for just being like, I'm stepping away from this one.
Mhm.
This one is I'm in the fight. I am in this fight overall, but this isn't now.
It doesn't.
No.
But
I
you need
didn't
to
feel the need to pick it apart. I was just like, yeah, fuck
pick
him.
apart. Like the
You know?
outrage is the point. It's
Yeah.
supposed to trigger you.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be,
Exactly.
this sucks. And you're supposed to say this sucks, and everyone's like, "What is he talking about? I better see if it sucks or not."
Here's the way I finally came to look at it. And like, ultimately, if you really want to say fuck you to these people, what they are is they are capitalists before they are racists.
Sure.
So you take away
the wallet.
money, right? And the more you bitch about it, the more money they're going to make. So if you
Absolutely.
really want to hurt them, take the fucking money from them.
Yeah.
And the way you
and the
take
thing
it,
to do, the thing to do would be like to release a song that's like Ben Shapiro's a giant twat or something along those lines. And then like
Cha-ching, all the Ben Shapiro heads.
yeah, and then everyone would be like, "It's just great, it's the worst thing ever." And then, but like,
it's a little on the nose, but
yeah, I think it's also a song about that. I mean, I feel like it's endemic that we all kind of know, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah. Be sat wet, Ben Shapiro.
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult twats that way.
I was trying to, yeah.
Twats are lovely.
We're living in a crazy. This is the farthest we've ever gone without getting political, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's. Yeah,
is that even politics though, or is it just like being a fucking human being, or
It's both.
Well, we're in such a weird time right now where everything is expressly political now. But again, we're in this situation where, as we just talked about with these sort of like AstroTurf, this will trigger the libs with the song thing, like responding to it means they win.
I agree 100%.
Right. Yeah.
What do you do? Like, do you just ignore it? Well, again, people that claim to be calling it out, like, yeah, you're calling it out and you're adding to its reach by doing so.
Yeah.
Because the algorithm doesn't care. It doesn't care if you're sharing that because you love it or you hate it. Well, people are going to see it. And it's designed to outrage people. So therefore you are feeding the outrage machine by doing it.
Exactly.
So,
and I mean, I can think of an example in my humble life. Here in central Missouri, I went to the fair to a demolition derby this year. My wife, to what turned out to be her first ever demolition derby, her being from the Ozarks and us all from the Midwest.
Can't believe that. Yeah.
We found that appalling.
So
many Ozarkers were just like, bullshit. She's had to have been. No, it was like she never had. But it was like, and of course, a gold van came out. It looked kind of like the TMV, the Tan Man van that I used to have.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Came out with small town, like spray painted on its side. Another came out with like, a rebel flag, a Confederate flag and everything. Of course, Columbia is pretty like liberal though here. I mean, we are a little island where the colleges are, and everybody was like, "Boo!" and throwing shit at them. And there were like guys who were there were like just like target him, everybody take him out, and they did, which is great. They all lost, but it was just funny hearing the back chatter behind me of like, who was on Jason Aldean's side of this demolition derby that had nothing to do with any of them. And but yeah, I took my wife out there, and she was like, "Well, that was interesting," but she was like, "It's kind of racist." I was like, "Yes, it's much more racist than anyone I've ever been to." Usually, race wasn't a part of that.
Well, and I suppose it's fitting too, considering that Missouri was on both sides of the Civil War, right?
Yeah.
We're just gonna see how this shakes out. We're gonna place bets on red and black.
Yeah. Well,
they come in from different counties and stuff, but it's like, Jesus. Yeah.
Man, but you guys are turning it around up there. Wisconsin has been kicking some ass.
Yeah, Wisconsin's doing great. It's amazing what happens when you let people vote, and we'll see. We'll see what happens with the gerrymandering situation.
And I'm just so excited for that. It actually is hopeful. Sorry, you know more about it than I do.
Well, and there's already the Robin Voss, who's the leader of the Republicans, the state house Republicans, was even saying like, "Oh, well, we might impeach Judge Janet because she's not shown to be impartial in this issue because she campaigned on it." It was like,
None of you
all
have
of you
been.
guys campaigned on this too. Like, you're gonna impeach the entire judiciary, man. Like,
Mhm.
but it just shows how desperate they are. That like because they know they're screwed, because they know that it's that like in a fair fight they're not gonna have this overrepresentative majority. You know, and in Wisconsin it's the Republican Party. In California it's generally the Democrats, and it was something that they turned redistricting over to a nonpartisan commission because of that, and it actually ended up being better because like it wasn't, you didn't end up with these elected representatives that are just fat and sassy and never had to worry about winning an
Right.
election, campaigning, or answering to the voters because they always get reelected anyway. So
Mhm.
That's where like AI should come in, like something that should be completely 100% impartial.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's
Ah,
gonna be partial for Skynet.
yeah. It still can't figure out how many fingers we have.
Right. But you know what?
I'm okay with that though. That's like the Voight Comp
Is
test
that
or
really
something.
important?
Yeah, it has one of its tails in the Voight Comp test.
Right.
Anyway, I mean, like it's stuff's looking up as far as that goes. Yeah, nothing else to say other than that. That's good.
Hey, and even next door to me, in Kansas.
Kansas. Oh yeah, I've been
Holy
following
shit.
that just the last couple of days. I check in on them like every once in a while. I'm like a little brother now. I was like, what are they doing in the legislature?
I wasn't in
Particularly, and I
California
do
to
have
Nevada.
to say about it's mainly about cannabis regulation that's going on there. That I can't believe they and Tennessee are going to be an island. Where
And they keep pushing these like, oh well, you want more abortion restrictions, don't you? And I was like, no, we don't want that. Like, oh
right.
yeah, but you really do. No, we don't want that.
You don't.
But I think you do. No, you
Yeah.
don't. We don't want that. Nobody wants that.
This is what happens when you have a minority that has been convinced that they are the majority.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they only talk to other people that they think exactly like how they do. Right.
And they do. They believe. They don't know. More people feel our way. And I'm like, did you not see you get your ass kicked in Kansas?
Right.
In fucking Kansas?
But I think the mirrors there are kind of turning in on them. In a lot of ways.
I don't know.
Isolating them. I don't know. It's just following what's going on lately. So much of the press anyway in that state is just like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And all the pictures in every paper. Like, you don't know.
It's like smaller and smaller circles of trust that happen.
Yeah.
And it's not exclusively like a right winger thing or a religious fundamentalist thing. It happens all again. It's endemic of the times that like you have to much like you have to work to get your perspective from the outside a lot of times. In that same way, it's incumbent upon everyone that actually cares to share and advocate for the things that you love, not just the things that annoy you.
Right.
Because all of social media is set up for like a negative reaction circuit. And again, there's a lot of shameless manipulators that are just taking advantage of that, and they're making big money on it.
Yeah.
And if you don't think about your own actions, if you don't think about like what you want to see in the world, then you're just being a participant in the circuit. That's the resting state. Doing nothing is a participant in the circuit.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to be like fair, like genuinely fair. And like when you see, if I hear and there are a few legit Hunter Biden arguments. Okay, acknowledge them.
Maybe you shouldn't be smoking crack and driving a car at 90 or whatever he was at.
Right?
I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
Acknowledge those. You know what? He should have paid his taxes. You know what? He should have been hooking up with
her. Real fuck. But you know what? Like,
but who
he
the
also
fuck is he? He's nobody. Yeah. He's not elected. He's the son of the king. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, he's not in charge of anything. Had a relative that's a screw up.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Yeah, and I mean, he's not in charge of anything. Tell me what he's fucking up. His own investments.
Exactly.
He's working with Russian. What did they say? Russian nationals. Like, what does that mean? It's like that's people who are Russian citizens who have businesses. Yeah. It's like, so Trump never did business with any Russian nationals, as you call them, or people with a Russian birth certificate, basically.
But it feels true. That's the thing.
Right. He used his name to earn, $7 million.
Like no rich kid in history has ever done.
Right. Meanwhile, they are,
and certainly not Trump's kids, and certainly not the Obama children, and everyone else.
Oh my God! I mean, if I had to put on trial everybody that I just personally knew
Chelsea Clinton,
who like showed their dick online or did cocaine, I mean,
to be clear,
take a number. It's gonna take a second, folks.
Right.
Yeah. Not things I would do. It doesn't mean it's endorsement activities, but also who gives a damn. But the point is, it's interaction. The point is that they're like, well, we can make this into something, and they actually can't. But what they can do is waste everybody's time to the point that people stop paying attention to the details, and they just go, Hunter Biden's laptop, and then like,
what about right? That's all they got is what about.
The dogs start barking. Woof 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 woof.
Yeah.
I don't even care. Why am I being mean to care about some president's peace and love crackhead son? I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if he smokes all the crack in the fucking world, man. I don't care if he has children with every stripper he's ever met. I don't care if he drives 95 miles per hour. It doesn't matter to me at all. Even a little bit doesn't affect my day in any way, shape, or form.
If he is not involved in policy, whatever, man.
What the fuck difference
my business?
He might as well just work in maintenance at your local Walmart. It does not matter. Are you telling me there are no crackheads in the world? I do not believe you. I have evidence against that.
And it's not even enjoyable to talk about them.
No.
It's just annoying.
What about him?
Oh, Trump has 91 indictments. 91.
Right.
If you were to average them out with every president that has been so far, everyone would have 1.75 or something along those lines, right?
Okay. Do you know, does anybody know? And that's because
one dude had all of them. You're saying all 91 of them are false? Huh? 91. All
that's what I'm going to ask. Does
counting, right?
Yeah.
Right. Again, this is undated. Right. Who knows? Who knows what tomorrow's going to bring?
And have you noticed, that's why he's not going to attend the debates, because he doesn't want Chris Christie up there saying, you know what, here's what's going on, because right now, Fox News and the spin machine, if you watch them, they're like, you don't need to bother reading the indictments. I'll tell you.
Right.
And then they don't. They're like, it says Trump is a bad guy for wanting to contest the election.
I opened up the indictments and all it said was Hunter Biden's laptop.
Yeah. I mean, fuck.
It doesn't bring any joy to me whatsoever to talk about any of this stuff.
Well, and I was thinking, I saw something on a website the other day that it was just with that many indictments, what the average statistic is for anybody to bear conviction off of that many indictments, just with 91, even if a few of them stick, even if 4 or 5.
1.98 indictments per president if you were to average it all out. But of course, we don't average it all out.
President, and that's a good point. It's who's being indicted, we're not looking at all the charges against Ed Gein, or we are looking at, massive white collar crime and horrific shit.
But also, by the same token, I can see it skating on all of this too, just because. People there was. I wanted to actually see some news about it. I'm curious about this. Let's see if it's on any of the news channels, and it wasn't. And then finally, after an hour of looking, I found it was maybe a 45-second to 1 minute clip where they mentioned it, and then they moved on to the state fair. I'm like, that's not even an A block news item anymore. I guess. All right.
But I do think, if it's 91, man, it's going to be hard to get out of all of those, especially when, those of us that have paid attention, it's real evident.
Well,
it's
but it's also he's the Dukes of Hazzard, man. He's going to just fucking get into fucking General Lee and jump across the
Right. Yeah.
And there he goes again.
I think that's on us, man. I think that's on us for accepting that narrative, right? And I think part of my responsibility is to not accept that narrative.
But I don't. It's not. But the thing is, we're not the jury,
No.
So, and his acolytes are going through and threatening each one of the jurors individually, and oh yeah, who could have predicted that would happen? Oh yeah, if you just anything this guy has done his entire career.
Not the guy with the RICO charge.
Yeah, wait, you're saying
Really?
he may have breached ethics? No,
Right.
definitely you say. Which he's certainly not the only president to have done that.
No.
Like it's the most egregious example.
He's the dumbest one to ever expose it to everybody right in front of them, and nobody did shit.
He just
except constantly defending him every day for being a moron. I'm sorry,
the rules don't apply to him. A lot of people feel that way.
I know. Yeah, it doesn't help. It helps me. That's all. I did post the other day. I was like, who's gonna, is he gonna die like clutching a McChicken before he's sentenced, like to all this, or it goes through court with that many counts? I just don't. I can't imagine. I've seen court cases.
Giuliani flipped on him? I think he did.
I don't know, maybe, but I mean, even like 2 court counts. I've seen cases in like local courts drag out for 2 and 3 years.
Sure.
Like 2 or 3 counts or something, even like fraud. That's pretty minor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get dragged out a long time. 91 fucking counts.
Well, the judge in New York. I mean, this is something that kind of gives me hope. But that judge in New York has already had, or not New York, the DC judge. Sorry, has like no sympathy for J6ers, right? And she's actually been one that when she's sentencing, she'll look at it and say, you know what, you need a harder sentence than what the prosecution was recommending. We're going to do that. Right? You're getting more time. That's not someone, I feel bad about having on this particular bench.
Right. I just wonder how much they're going to lump together. You know what I mean? Like how much they're going to say, all right, because there's so many goddamn counts. I mean, I think
it's a package, sure, but it's a package indictment.
Right. I mean, if you could look at the specifics of a case of 91 case, you're looking at 91 years, possibly. If dragging shit out if you really wanted to. Yeah, he's not going to make it that long. So I'm proposing a death roll right now. Death by chicken sandwich or sentencing. Which one?
I've been saying for years, if he gets too close to getting put away, he's going to make a run for Russia.
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced he won't do that.
Yeah. I wasn't either. I mean, back
do you even have him at this point?
I don't know. Maybe it's a lapdog.
Oh, sure. Vlad would love that.
Oh, yeah. As a puppy,
Look at my pet.
Look at him. Isn't he cute?
I am powerful.
I don't know if that dude has the resource to do any of that right now after wasting all that money attacking.
Yeah. And
that was an ill-advised invasion that he thought was going to go very differently. And I was like, why did you think?
It's kind of funny that now he's asking for patrons.
Well, of course, because he's doing the same thing everyone else does. He thinks that because all of his buddies are like, yes, Putin, you're the best, and everything you say is correct. He thinks that he's correct because of that. It's like, no, that just means you're a yes man.
Right.
All that means.
Yeah. And now he's like pimping Instagram and be like, anybody else want to like join our side? Losing war? Come on.
You're right there.
Yeah, we're coming.
Right after we finish examining Hunter Biden's laptop, we'll be right there.
Hunter Biden's laptop.
Exactly.
I'm going to get a shirt that says just that. No, I'm not. Because what if I get shot for the wrong reasons?
That'd be really dumb.
Somebody's already got a band name.
I was being ironic.
No, it was not sincere.
Joke. No, let me explain.
He said that's what you want to be when you have a gun in your face. Now, hold on, let me explain. No, that's.
Wait a minute. Not what it looks like. Well, you hitting the road soon? So you hitting the road soon?
Yeah. We got the Monic Schnitzel Fest in Louisville. It's like
what is that? Thing. Okay.
It's like an outdoor
Are there sausages?
There are sausages. There's beer.
Yeah.
Like that. So we're doing that in mid-September, and then we have the West Coast Tour with Lung, which again it's Phoenix, LA, San Francisco, Reno, Sacramento, Eugene, Portland, Bellingham, Seattle. So the entire West Coast, and Bellingham's as close as you can get without being Canada.
Yeah.
So that should be good. Probably not a whole hell of a lot for the rest of the year. We'll see, but we have a lot of stuff planned for spring, and we'll get more touring in for this with Lung. They're very busy, and they can do it a lot more than we can.
Yeah.
In any iteration, and that's the
Mhm.
best way that I can put that. And I kind of knew that going into it, that we weren't going to be able to do everything with them. But this is a good opportunity to tour with a band we like quite a bit and have a reason to do so.
We've definitely got to get them on, Matt. And it's another like 2-piece we can collect. We love collecting 2-piece bands.
Yeah.
Get them all.
We've found so many amazing ones.
Bronson Arm, they're great.
Yeah. And a few through you, Dad. I mean,
Dead.
So many.
I was there a 3-piece now, but
John times 2.
Yeah, John times 2. They're great.
Excellent.
I was corrected that just called them John, and the
Just
times
call
2.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, cool, but if you look up Spotify, it's John times.
Yeah. Good luck Googling that.
You got to distinguish
John band.
They're going to be touring here in a couple of months.
We're actually, they're a few days behind us, and we're playing some of the same venues, which is really
cool.
funny. Like, oh wow, it'd be cool if we could with Tunic. They're playing with Tunic.
Oh, right on.
That should be awesome. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to catch any of those shows, but I hope I can. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it was. I was like, oh, it'd be cool if we could like cross over the tours, but now it's we're gonna miss it.
Well, maybe you'll have
Marks last year too. We were like,
maybe
oh,
on
we
the flat tire in the van, and you'll
dare to dream. Yeah.
Right. You schedule the lineup. Oh shit.
We'll get down to your respective areas of the woods again at some point, because we played KC before, but I didn't know either of you guys then. So.
Yeah, we got right before. Yeah, now I'm sure something will come up that it's just jinxed. I mean, it happened with like Kevin Seal,
oh sure,
Party coming through. Could not make that show. Right here.
One of these days.
Right here.
One of these days.
You'll host the next Caterwall down here. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'll tour just like Adult Prom.
Yeah.
The actual Adult Prom, not the record. So go get it. neutronfriends.bandcamp.com or get it at Learning Curve too.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Learning Curve. I think it's Learning Curve. I should know this. learningcurve.bandcamp.com, I think is what it is.
Yep. I think that's what just billed me. So
you can get there's vinyl, there's CDs.
Oh digital format, other ways.
Digital.
Much less too than I'm a tactile guy.
LearningCurveRecords.bandcamp.com. I stand corrected. The neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. Lungs is lung.bandcamp.com. But it's the same record. You can buy it from one of those.
Yeah. And follow links, listen to some more Lung stuff. And we gotta get her on. We gotta get them both on if we can.
Yeah, people attribute it to just to Kate, because Kate's such a powerhouse and she's an incredible vocalist, lyricist, cello. But like Daisy's just as much a part of that band, and and Daisy's very clever, but I get what it is, where it's like, if you see someone that's just like this, like incendiary, like supernova of like badassery, it's really easy to like not notice the incredible drummer that she's playing with. But he writes the songs too with her, and like they got a real cool partnership. And actually Daisy's wife Rochelle is a non-playing member of that band. Like she does all their art and like tour management, and she's a powerhouse in her own right. But Lung's great. You should definitely have them on at some point. Can't say enough nice things about Lung. They tour all the time.
We will do it. Yep.
I wouldn't mind seeing a They Watch Us from the Moon and Lung collaborate.
I could see that.
Two of the ladies in that band are also classically trained.
Cool.
Yeah, and that would be, they're kind of a space
spacey prog,
space prog, doomy operatic, thing. They cover themselves in silver paint and everything, and groovy show. Cool. Good music too. I'll send you some shit. There's
All right. Yeah. And our tour, many
Yes.
of your listeners are in the West Coast. We're playing those places. I forgot to mention the Seattle show is this thing called Rat City Recon.
Oh, cool.
Rat City Recon, and it's Big Business is playing that as well as many others.
Oh,
It's at a
cool.
roller rink, which is
Right
crazy.
on.
Cool.
Love Big
Yeah.
Business. Yeah.
So that's gonna be good. I don't know if I'm supposed to mention that or not, but whatever. That's an
No,
undetermined.
It's out there.
They're gonna announce it like next couple days or two anyway.
Right on.
That's how
Oh, yeah.
we're ending that tour, so that should be a good one. And we'll have more coming up. Tony's kind of still getting settled into Louisville and stuff. And like I said, I if you would ask me in like April whether this record was gonna come out this year or not, I'd be like flip a coin.
Mhm.
Could go either way. And a bunch of stuff went our way.
Yeah.
And so we're like, well, crap. All right, cool. Let's go do a tour. Let's go do all these things. And it's nice to have things break your way for once.
Yeah. Well, check it out. It's incredible, and it's an amazing collaboration. Just the way you did it, but by splitting the songs, and who covered who, and doing the kind of two-sided aspect of it. I think it was just really awesome. And they are different gears, they're different sounds. I mean, for both sides of the records, but it just all somehow goes together, works.
Good. Well,
It's beautiful.
I value y'all's opinions quite a bit, so it pleases me to no end that you're digging it. So.
No, well, we appreciate you just a ton,
Love it.
and we're always happy to get to talk to you and catch up. And
It's been a while. It's been a
yeah,
little bit.
well, it seems like that, but it seems like we're also on with you. We've definitely had you on more than anyone else, I think.
I guess so.
Yeah, I think this is the one. I was talking to my wife about that. I think this is the one that puts
who's been on the most.
Yeah, that puts you on the top of the pyramid right now.
What can I say? I'm damn entertaining.
There you go.
And we love you. We love you.
And I always have some new crap I'm working on too.
You do.
Yeah.
Hence the hardest working man, but the hardest working van.
Yeah, exactly. Hardest working man in show business. That was amazing.
James Brown type. That's the problem with it. You got to get that asterisk in there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then you can put in small print on the bottom. I can see it.
Since James
Brown.
Right
go without saying, but let's say it.
I'm working on a limerick. Wait, there was a hardworking man, a hardworking band. Yeah, there's got to be more. There's something.
He was so goddamn quick. He pulled out his. All right.
He did lots of stuff. All of it was just. Yeah, it all ends up being. Yeah, I know there are non-dated
They always
limericks.
end up filthy. They do in my mind anyway.
I should say academically, I know there are non-filthy limericks, but
sure, I'm aware of them.
I'm aware that they exist. Yeah.
I'm aware of why. I just can't quote it.
That's the point.
I understand why, but anyway.
All right. Anything else you want to plug, or you guys ready to wrap? Or
that's about it for me. Pick up the record. Take a chance on it. Caterwall 2024 is a go. Nothing much to say about it other than that. But that's about it for now. It's enough. Yeah. It's a lot. Whole West Coast tour is pretty good.
Yeah,
nice.
The vinyl's very reasonably priced, guys. And absolutely, and you gotta have a little tip on there. And but the other versions of the album too, also extremely reasonable. Just check it out. Just go listen to it. You'll like it.
There you go.
You'll like it.
All right.
You'll love it. All right. Conan Neutron. Howdy.
Thanks again, man.
We'll talk
Always.
to you soon. Thanks
it.
for joining us again.
Absolutely.
Here we are.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Matt, you have to.
Bye.
Bye.